Hello, my name's Andrew, and next to me is my twin brother, Michael, live with us on Skype. We decided to take our political squabbles public.
Because you don't know when to keep your trap shut.
Well, if you'd quit saying ignorant crap, we wouldn't get into it.
Whatever, go on.
We thought it would be interesting to take our debates to a public forum. This way we can share our views with friends, family, or anyone interested in what we hope to be a debate with some substance. Perhaps we'll each learn something from your feedback, and maybe it'll help others draw a conclusion.
Today's topic is the war on Afghanistan. I think we need to finish the job while Andrew wants us to run with our tail between our legs like the Russians did.
All right, let's get started. So, Mike, why do you think we need to continue the war in Afghanistan?
Well, that's simple. 9/11. The terrorists, a bunch of towel-headed sons of bitches, attacked us and they need to pay.
All right, well, I guess you're getting right down to it. So we're there to fight terrorism is what you're saying.
Duh.
And we need to send troops and resources to fight the American-hating radicals.
Don't pussyfoot around. It's the Muslims, the jihad and stuff. The Quran tells them to kill the infidels. And guess what? We're the infidels. We went over there to get back at them for 9/11 to kill the Al-Qaeda and just crush them so it can't happen again.
What about all the people we kill in our attempt at hunting down the terrorists? I mean, did you know that for every 3 targeted enemies we kill, 1 innocent civilian is killed on average?
I know that happens, and I'm sorry, but that's war. People are way too sensitive about the collateral damage thing. I mean, look how many people were killed on 9/11, all of them innocent civilians. When we send a drone to the job, which by the way saves American lives because we don't have to fly helicopters and jets to do it, we can kill more terrorists and less of them village people.
Village people.
But when we bomb a building where known terrorists are hiding and other people there get killed, well, they obviously knew the terrorists were there and they were probably helping them, like making their dinner or something. It's just like in America. If someone robs a bank and shoots someone dead and then escapes in a getaway car, the person who drove the getaway car is guilty of murder too. It's aiding and abetting criminals and guilt by association.
Women and children, you decided they are guilty of being a terrorist without any known threat, without any rights whatsoever. You've convicted them to a death sentence, and that's okay? Women making meals for terrorists, they are enemy combatants?
Like I said, it's guilt by association.
Mike, children?
Well, someday those kids will be terrorists like their dad, right? What do they say? The apple never falls far from the tree?
Case in point, you and I, not true. I think you came from a different forest.
You're the one that came from a different forest, or maybe a flower bed. You're such a friggin' pansy.
Do you see why this tends to break down over Thanksgiving dinner?
And those young girls, they'll probably have kids with the terrorists, and those kids will be terrorists, and then their kids. See? If we kill a terrorist and his family, or like wipe out a village, not only are we killing the ragheads, but we're killing all the chances for them to have little baby raghead terrorists.
All right, wait a minute. First off, you're a racist idiot. Secondly, Mike, it is a criminal act to murder someone. And that's what we're doing, is murdering people, and you're calling it collateral damage. They aren't afforded due process. They are lesser people and shouldn't be given any rights. Look, do I want factions of people around the globe conspiring to do us harm? No. But we're killing innocent people in the name of killing suspected terrorists. That's just wrong.
They aren't suspected terrorists, they are terrorists. And sure, I'd rather other people didn't get killed, but it is what it is. It has to be that way. We can't sneak into every terrorist home and kidnap them so we can put them on trial. That's absurd. This is war, shit happens, people die. And, you know, what I can't understand is why you think their lives are more important than ours.
All right, this is nuts as usual. Let me ask you something, Mike. How many people's lives would be affected if you were to permanently die, prematurely, like tomorrow?
I don't know, 10? Family and best friends, my barber? Why, are you trying to tell me something?
Okay, right. And wouldn't you agree that's fairly typical? I mean, almost any person around the globe who prematurely dies, about 10 other people's lives would also be affected, right? Right?
Aren't we supposed to be debating the war in Afghanistan?
All right, answer one question. If your wife was hanging out at Starbucks with her best friend and an act of terror occurred, like a bus bombing, right outside the store, and she and her best friend were killed along with, say, I don't know, 15 other people on or near the bus, not only those 15 people would be lost forever, but 150 other people's lives would be permanently damaged, right? And if this was an act of terror, how would you feel about the group who did this? Would your heart not be filled with rage? You'd be angry.
You mean if it were one of those jihadist mothers? You're damn right, I'd want to kill them, all of them.
You have two sons. If they lost their mom, they would also be filled with rage. I mean, after all, you set the example, right?
Plenty of hate in this family.
And the other 150 or so people whose lives were affected by the death of the victims, 150 or so people would feel anger and perhaps hatred in their heart for the organization responsible, right?
You mess with America, you're going to get an ass whooping, plain and simple.
You'd want your revenge.
You're damn right.
You'd want them dead.
I'd want to do it myself.
So, Michael, how do you think a man in Afghanistan with two boys who have nothing to do with terrorism would feel if his wife, their mother, were killed by the United States as collateral damage? Do you think that husband would hate the United States? What about the two boys? Do you think in a country with little hope of prosperity and little education that those boys would grow to be school teachers or doctors? Or is it more likely they join a faction of others who see the Americans as terrorists? Wouldn't their hearts be filled with anger and vengeance? Want the American terrorists dead and even be willing to die themselves for justice? We see that all the time.
Yeah, they probably would. And if they would pick up a Bible and
Oh,
start
you
learning
have got to
culture,
be kidding me. This has nothing to do with religion. Catholics and Protestants killed each other from the 1600s until the mid-1990s, and they read the same book. It was the result of the same phenomenon I just described. You killed my dad because I killed your uncle, so now I'm going to kill you and your father. It's throughout history.
Look, do other people get killed sometimes? Yes. But if you're going to ask me what life is worth, I will tell you that it's okay if 3 so-called innocent terrorists die if it means one American is saved. I don't know about the Irish thing, but I do know if we kill someone by accident and their family becomes terrorists, like the kids who lost their mom in your example, and those kids grow up with the purpose of wanting to kill Americans, then I guess it's just more terrorists we gotta kill.
Oh my God. And also more innocent civilians will also be killed who will share the same disdain for America.
Innocent? You really think those people are innocent? Even if they aren't carrying guns, they want to kill us.
Oh my God, you just don't get it.
Me? Why do you hate this country so bad?
Oh, I was reading a Nicholas Kristof piece in the New York Times, and he wrote that for the cost of one soldier in Afghanistan, we could have built 20 schools. Guess how much a military drone costs?
I don't know, $1 million.
Nope. The Predator costs $4.5 million per plane. Who knows how many schools or aid for assistance and self-sustaining prosperity could have been invested for a fraction of the cost of one Predator. Michael, how would the father in that village feel about America if instead of losing his wife, she lives to see their 2 sons receive an education? Would that father be filled with hatred towards America or pride of their son's accomplishments? Be thankful. Would those boys, who perhaps do go on to be teachers or doctors, conspire to blow up a bus outside a local Starbucks? I mean, if we break the cycle of hate and violence by investing around the world, instead of being the bully cop, our nation would actually be safer. Don't you get it? America would actually be safer if we invested.
Don't you get it? You live in a fantasy world full of rainbows and butterflies. The world can be an ugly place, a dangerous place. We do what we do to keep ourselves safe. The world is a better place because we are the police, the superpower.
All right, looks like we're at another stalemate. I am exhausted.
I told you, brother, your beliefs are weak, and weakness is vulnerable.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But I think we should end it here, don't you think?
I think it's a perfect place to stop. I think people will see my point.
As of Memorial Day 2010, over 1,000 American servicemen and women lost their lives. So our condolences to the more than 10,000 Americans who lost friends and loved ones. I believe it's time to end the killing and suffering. Thanks for watching. We look forward to your comments.